Hey, what's happening, fellas? And for a few of you ladies out there, I know there's a couple of you that watch, and we appreciate the ladies that actually play DFS and come out here and play a little fantasy sports with us. Anyway, we're going to run through some NBA DFS picks for the 28th of April. We are getting close to the playoffs. I know we're all itching for it. We're itching for more quality NBA games. However, side note, we're gonna have some good games over the next couple of weeks because there's still people like jockeying for playoff positions. So, we got those teams that are still trying to get healthy. Obviously, there's a bunch of those out there, but we do have some teams that are going to need to keep playing hard. So I'm just going to get psyched for a more exciting NBA. It's coming. It's coming soon. You guys know how much I love basketball. It's been a more difficult product the last few weeks, even more so than it has been the rest of the year. So I completely understand why people are turned off by it right now. But the good stuff is coming, man. It is coming soon. Anyway, before we get into today's picks, guys, our good friends at Drafters, I want to make sure that I talk about this one and I talk about it hard today, guys. This football contest that we've been pushing the last 2 weeks is only two-thirds full. They've been trying to fill it for a long time. It ain't happening, guys. It's about two-thirds full right now. Last drafts are 6:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and it's a $5.55 buy-in with $30,000 in prizes. Quite frankly, do a couple of drafts. You're going to make money on this one. Unless you're like, you just tank the whole thing, which is tough to do. With this much overlay, it's going to be a money maker. This website is a blast. One of the reasons we chose to partner with them is because we play here on a daily basis, and it's a good time. We have fun playing with our other customers. You guys hear us announce the winners on here sometimes, but this NFL contest, which is a season-long type of thing, get some drafts in, guys. It is a money maker. It is going to be difficult not to make money on this with how much overlay there's going to be. Memberships available through the website. Grab a weekly membership and let's rock and roll, guys. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Let's talk about Jingly Joe Ingles, a.k.a. Toby Flenderson's twin brother. Cash lock for me today. So this slate is going to be heavy, heavy, heavy about the Utah Jazz, in my opinion. They're in a great spot at Sacramento, coming off a couple of bad losses against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is embarrassing in its own right. The slate was priced out before the announcement that Mike Conley will be joining Donovan Mitchell on the sidelines tonight and not playing in this game. This kind of, I don't even feel like I could literally do 5-pack today of 5 Jazz guys to talk about. We're only going to talk 2. It'd be way too easy just to talk about 5 Jazz guys. But this is a sweet matchup against the Sacramento Kings. Even though they're undermanned, this is still a pretty decent basketball team with Ingles and Clarkson and O'Neal and Bogdanovich and Gobert. They should be competitive in this one. Ingles is, right at the top as far as my favorite guy goes. And he's played awful the last 2 games, but I'm not, you don't have a lot of choice without Mike Conley. You're going to have to be more aggressive. Last game, he couldn't hit water falling out of a boat. He opted to stop shooting. Shooters usually shoot. Not that day. He must have just felt off because he just kind of stopped. I don't read a ton into it. Guys have bad games. I have bad back-to-back games. I expect him to come out assertive and aggressive tonight. He should have the ball in his hand a ton. He's a very capable DFS player in a great matchup. Way too cheap without Mike Conley or Donovan Mitchell in this one. I'm assuming he'll be chalk supreme along with 3, 4, 5 other Jazz players. So Joe Ingles is a cash lock. I think he's a good look in any format, though, and expect him to be really, really popular today. Next up, Royce O'Neal of the Utah Jazz. Again, I think you're going to find 4 or 5 Jazz players really, really popular. And I'm picking O'Neal for GPPs, but quite frankly, they're all in play in any format, in my opinion. So I think he'll be slightly lower owned by the Jazz standards. And what I mean by that, by standards of their players today, he'll still be popular, but maybe not quite as popular as some of the other guys, possibly. We'll see how the day breaks out. It's still a little early to judge the ownership projections, but you can expect most of the Utah Jazz team that actually plays is going to get some love today. One of the things I like about O'Neal for upside is he's like one of their more consistent plays, right? Because he doesn't heavily rely on outside shooting. You know what I mean? It's a lot, 7 rebounds, 7 points, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. He just has kind of a boring stat line. He's out there to play defense. He doesn't need to shoot to be an effective player, so he kind of just rolls into 25 most days-ish. Without Conley or Mitchell, that's a lot of extra potential usage. Not saying it's all going to roll to him. You just want a little bit extra to go to him. Maybe he puts the ball on the floor a little bit more today and tries to create a little bit. Now, he's not a great ball handler, so he ain't going to be running the point like Ingles, but he's got the opportunity to shoot a couple more threes today. He should at least be able to roll into somewhere around cash value. And if he plays well offensively and hits a few threes, he could potentially hit some nice GPP value today at, again, I'm just guessing, slightly lower ownership than some of the other really chalky Jazz guys. Hey, DK, Schroeder's been on the Lakers now for the entire season. Let's change this picture. So I like Dennis Schroeder today. And with all the Jazz guys in play, I do think I think he offers you the cash game consistency that you want, but also with a low enough ownership that is kind of appealing in GPPs. So there's still no LeBron James. Y'all know that. AD's set to play like more and more minutes, but he's not a point guard, right? Like Anthony Davis still looks rusty. You know, him and Schroeder can easily coexist. It's other guys that are going to get weeded out of this the equation here, not Dennis Schroeder, who's still the point guard. He's in a great spot against the Wizards. And I know that NBA games are unpredictable and random more than ever this time of the season, but I expect this to be a good game, right? I think these teams are pretty evenly matched right now, and Washington's a great pace-up spot. I like Dennis in pace-up spots. I mean, this guy's knocked 39.5 DK points out in 4 of the last 5 games. Don't worry about that questionable Tay. They was listed as probable yesterday. He's going to play. So, I mean, like, he's kind of just rolling into GPP value most of the time, or at least borderline GPP value. And now he gets Washington? Like, I don't know, man. This is a pretty good spot for him to do 40-plus here today. And what I will assume will be, like, he's not going to be unowned. He's a pretty obvious play, but there's so many good plays on this one that it's going to be difficult to get to him, in my opinion. All right, let's talk about long shots. And again, these guys are both guys I brought up in long shot today. Like, they're going to play, and I don't trust them for cash game because I think they're guys who could easily tank. But I love the legit, like, GPP potential upside right here. So I'm going to talk about Jarrett Allen, and I like him a lot today. In the first game without Colin Sexton, you saw him with much higher usage rate. He had to touch the ball in the offense a whole lot more. He was amazing. We saw a run with him earlier this year for Cleveland where he was dropping these 50-plus games left and right. And then he just hit kind of a lull. You know, they got Kevin Love back. Sexton was kind of doing a ton. He wasn't touching the ball much on the offensive side of things. He looked a little tired in the second game of the back-to-back the other day, and he wasn't very good. But now he's got a day off. He's going up against a really bad team in the Orlando Magic. Bad offense. What does that mean? Lots of block shots and rebound potential right here. I can't imagine with the way this slate breaks down that he's going to get a lot of attention. Again, I could be wrong on that, but I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to the category of chalk. And on a big slate like this is a guy with like legit 7x upside. You know what I mean? Like, he could drop 50 today, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye at this. I also think he's got an opportunity to dip back down in the 20s. He's not always assertive and aggressive for this team. He's not a great offensive player, so it's not like they run plays for him. But I think the upside here is for real. I'm calling for a double-double and 3 blocks tonight, maybe more. All right, last up, let's talk about Lonzo Ball. This is another guy. Like, this is not an off-the-wall play in any stretch of the imagination, but on a big slate like this, I can't imagine that Lonzo Ball gets a lot of attention today. So, one, the New Orleans Pelicans are like, I mean, they're desperate, right? They are on the verge of being bounced from even the opportunity to play in the play-in game. So, like, every game's a playoff game for them right now. I expect a good performance from them, good effort. I was highly encouraged not only by his performance, but the 38 minutes Lonzo played last game. No time to mess around now. You need wins. And while Lonzo's not a great player, he's still a good player and one of the better players on this team. You need wins. You need all the wins you can get. And while he's a little inconsistent, he's got a lot of games where he's in the 20s, and in a slate like this, that would be a big-time disappointment. He's also got like a double-digit amount of games this year where like he has gone off at this price tag. He's a better outside shooter than he has been earlier in his career. I don't know, man. As far as like GPP long shots, I think he's a guy who will not garner a lot of attention today. And I think the Pelicans Nuggets is a game that has, you know, high offensive potential. I think he's got like another guy here. He has legit like 7-8x upside right here. And it wouldn't be like, oh, he's going to do it once or twice a year. He's done that multiple times this season already. So he's a little hit or miss. He's not always very assertive, which is the big issue with Lonzo. And, you know, I heard a saying this year with LaMelo, and it was LaMelo is what Lonzo could have been if he had confidence. And that confidence comes and goes for him. But if he plays well tonight and makes some early threes, we know he's a guy that can knock out 5 steals in the game, easy peasy. You know, a guy who can roll into a double-double with the assists. He's a guy who can, you know, is occasionally on triple-double watch. Not often, but occasionally. A little bit more of an inconsistent outside shooter, but obviously a much better shooter than he has been in years past. So this is a legit upside spot for him. And I wouldn't put him in my main lineup. Like if I just ran one lineup tonight, he wouldn't make that. But like if I was running a 3-entry max, I might want to try to shimmy him into that point guard spot once and know that there's like a real upside right there. So that's what I got for today, guys. Never hesitate to click the thumbs up button. We appreciate y'all watching the show. We'll talk about some baseball here in a couple hours and wish you all the best of luck today. Thank you very much.